perpetual momentum wheel. Thought, action, thought, action, thought, action. Take the action upon that thought that you just deposited on the scale of success. Hey everyone, welcome to the Awaken Your Abundance Q&A. I've had quite a few questions come in, so I'm excited to be able to share those with you. They're very thought out and also just very interesting to hear the questions that had poured in. So the first thing that I want to say is I welcome you here. Thanks for taking your time out to understand a little bit more of how you can awaken your abundance in your life and create prosperity. So the first question that I have here was about the foundational principles. It says, what foundational principles of law of attraction should a beginner focus on? The law of attraction is something that's always working for us. So great question. Where should I put my focus? Your focus is going to need to be on the desire of having the feeling of already experiencing exactly what you're looking for. So if you're thinking that I have to get out of debt, or I have to get married, or I have to, get a better job, any of those things, they're a direction that you may want to go, but you don't want to focus in on the lack of it, but focus in on the prosperity, the abundance that it's already involved in your life. Use little skits, play it out, speak about it, consider thinking about it all day long. The idea of what you would be experiencing with that. Sorry, looks like one of my cats is getting upset there. But the idea of what you would actually be experiencing in your life, that you would be harnessing that feeling. How would it feel? What would you be thinking like? What would the excitement level or the joy level be in your heart? Would you be considering the ideas of worry, fear, doubt if that was already happening? I doubt it. You would not be. You can only experience fear and anxiety or joy and love. There's only two ways to experience anything, is positive or negative. And whatever you're going to harness on the feeling side is where you're going to be actually zeroing in on the law of attraction. That's what's going to attract. It's an invisible force that's attracting in your life. It's not just what you say or what you do, but it's an invisible force, a feeling, a faith, leaving zero doubt that it's already happened. When you believe that it's already happened, then it's already in the position that it's coming into your life. And there's things unforeseen that are happening for that to come into your life. So you have to be consistent about it. So let's recap that, just because it's such a good question. First, we have an idea of exactly what we want. Then you focus in on the feeling that you're already experiencing it. And thirdly, you leave zero doubts that it's already happening. So everything about you is focused on it. There might be people thinking like, what's going on with my friend? They're delusional. No, you're training the subconscious to experience what is already on its way, so it comes to you in a more rapid pace. All right, well, great question. That's a great one to start off with. Another one is that I received this, and it was a little bit longer, so I actually want to read it out to you here. It was text here. I've been working on manifesting money for a while, focusing on the abundance I already have to attract more, but it doesn't seem to be working. Can you guide me in the right direction to align with abundance and build trust in the universe? So if you've been working on this for a while, I congratulate you. I've been working on it for over 5 years in a full-time manner. But also before that, it was about another 10 years before that of what can I do? What should I be doing? On again, off again training. I'll tell you the first thing that you want to do is really make a consistent habit, a version of yourself that has no compromising in the idea of where you're guiding your daily habits and your thought patterns. Okay? Like our daily habits that we do without thinking, we need to readopt and realign and kind of essentially turn back that knob of volume high on the spectrum of I don't have it, where is it, what am I doing wrong? Lower that volume and let's turn up a new volume, create a new groove in this record, these consistent habits. That new groove is going to be the tone, the attitude, the familiarity of you living in that abundance, that wealth that you've been seeking in money. So we need to understand that most people, and I'm one of them, I would say all people before they really get this down are going to bounce on again, off again, on again, off again. They're thinking abundance, and then they focus on the lack. Oh, but I don't have this. I wish I had this. I need this in order to be able to get ahead. Then they think of abundance again. It'd be so wonderful to have that home, that lifestyle, that new car, the relationship, the body, whatever that abundance and wealth is in your life, because it comes in many different forms. Then you focus on the how, how. It's interesting in the Robert Russell book, You Too Can Be Prosperous. He talks about aligning your idea of divine thought. Okay. Is lack divine thought? Is scarcity divine thought? No. Is fear divine thought? No. It's definitely defined thought in the idea that we don't have it or that we're fearful of it or negative of it. We want to create a prosperous thought, an abundant thought, a wealthy being. So we have to be consistent because the grooves of the old record aren't going to create the opposite until you etch them into existence in your everyday thought. And consistently thinking it is going to begin to etch it into the subconscious mind that causes you to essentially emanate only that version of yourself. So there's a lot of people that say, hey, I did that for 20 years. I did that for, 2 years. It didn't work. I stopped. But what's interesting is you never stopped. You're still doing it. It's just a matter of what you're experiencing is what you're thinking about all day long. In As a Man Thinketh, it states, you will become what you think about all day long. So imagine a scale, the old time scale that teeters. And what your thought is what the weights, what your thought is all day long is what the weights are that are being placed on this scale. Okay? So you have the imagination scale, and you're dropping these negative thoughts over here throughout the day. I don't have enough. I wish this. Oh man, that's coming up. And then once in the morning or once in the evening or both, you're tipping in some positive thoughts over here. I'm abundant. I'm loved. I'm full of wealth. I'm healthy. Okay. But all day long, you're continuing to focus in on that fear, the scarcity, the difficulty. So think of your scale right now. All day long, are we emotionally depositing these thoughts and feelings of fear, scarcity, and problems in your life? I'm not saying ignore them, but are we putting our focus on them? And on the other side, how much conscious focus are we putting on the idea of abundance, wealth, prosperity, health? So I would implore the person that put this particular question in, great question, by the way, to imagine what they're depositing on their scale all day long. And then start to consider depositing more on the side that they really want. Because the law of attraction is always working for you. So whether you stop or continue consciously, it's going to keep going. It doesn't care if you're doing it. It's just a law. It exists like gravity. You're going to attract what you believe and think and put action into creating. So let's change those patterns of belief and thinking and start operating in the actions of that version of you that already is receiving what you want. And it'll start to change. Otherwise, this particular person should definitely join our school community. Most definitely get around the people that are helping you with the idea of what you can create. And I'll talk more about our school community here shortly. Now, another great question. Sounds like my pup wants to tune in here. Another great question is, can you explain the role of gratitude in manifesting desires? That's a great question as well. I love gratitude, okay, because the attitude of what you're going to be, putting out all day long is what you're going to receive, okay? It's very similar to what we were just talking about. The attitude of gratitude, one of my favorite phrases, is an important role in manifesting. The gratitude is implanting a vibration inside of you. Every time you're grateful, you could be grateful for waking up. You could be grateful for your children. You could be grateful for the smile on your partner's face, whatever it is. That new sale that you had, the present that you're receiving. We're all coming up to a holiday, so you may be grateful for presents, okay? Or family time. Imagine how you feel when you're grateful. Like, what does that feel like in your body? If you close your eyes and you think of the things that you're grateful for, that you're most grateful for, what does it do to your vibration? It creates this beautiful, loving vibration of giving and receiving and joy and fruitfulness. It's almost infinite. There's no limit on it. I mean, it is infinite. I wouldn't say it's almost. It is. And that's the feeling of prosperity. Okay? Prosperity and abundance and manifesting is not something of just, hey, I give this for that. It's infinite. It's you are infinitely giving and you are infinitely receiving. It's a vibration of love. So gratitude puts you in that vibration. Sometimes we don't know how to get into this vibration. Gratitude is the key. The key is gratitude. So you create this version of yourself that is giving and receiving continuously, flowing to and through you. And that vibration sets up this ability to start manifesting, this ability to start growing in momentum and shutting out that old habit of difficulty, scarcity, strife, negativity, arguments, all of that bad stuff that is a part of our life. Let's face it. It's not, you don't just ignore it. It's that you suffocate it and rewrite it. So those little So those large voices booming in your head of difficulty and strife are now tiny little whispers. So we'll have to rewrite that narrative. We're all constantly thinking. It's something like 65,000 thoughts a day in our head. Tremendous amount of chatter. But is it consciously directed, or is the outside world directing it? And for most people, including myself, the outside directs it. But the only way to redesign that is with conscious awareness and continually improving each day, just 1%, becoming more aware. And that's when you'll be able to change the dials of your inner voice, your inner alliance. I like to call it an alliance. So let's move to the next one. We already did that. How do limiting beliefs impact the law of attraction, and how can I overcome them? Well, limiting beliefs are something that is going to cause us to put a regulator on our life without installing it. Those limiting beliefs may not be ours. They may not be something that you decided for yourself, but somebody else had just slowly and surely written it into your life manifesto. Those limiting beliefs can be I'm not enough, or maybe I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm overweight, I'll never get better. There could be a plethora of them. But what's interesting is there's this beautiful tone and ability, this limitless capacity in all of those beliefs right before the definition of what the belief is installing. Okay? It's I am, I know, I love, I have. It's those God tones, the source tones of saying and commanding this energy into your life. Those tones are so important. They're like the helix in your DNA. It's writing what you're going to physically look like, and the different things that you're going to experience in your body, your chemistry. The I and the I am, the I have, the I know, the I will, all of these are commanding you to obey. Every little one of those phrases are going to decide what you're going to experience either right now or in the future. So what are you writing with that? It says, how are they impacting with my law of attraction? They're impacting you by causing you to orient all the direction in that vibration. I mean, you may as well imagine you're on a train platform. There's two trains. One's going this way, one's going that way. Which one are you going to choose? One says positive, the other one says negative. One says fear, the other one says abundance. It's a matter of choice. So those limiting beliefs are going to continue to put their thumb on you and prevent you from growth. Now, how can I overcome them was the second part of the question. You overcome them in a multitude of ways. First of all, it goes back to our first question. Define what you want. Okay? And if you don't know what you want, write down the things that you don't like, those limiting beliefs. Then just simply write the opposite of that. Maybe it's I'm always behind on my bills. So what's the opposite? I'm always ahead with my bills. I will never find the relationship I want. I have found the relationship I want. I love it. So, whatever it is, you can find out exactly what you desire by actually, it's nice when you have limiting beliefs because what they're telling you is where you can go. They're a guidance, they're almost a compass if you're not sure where you want to go. I promise it's the opposite of what you don't like the most in your life. That's the opposite. And that's where you should be heading. So, first, we need to define where we're heading. Secondly, we need to have a conscious effort of experiencing, talking, thinking, and taking action upon that belief, upon that direction. And it must be consistent. It has to be tested and true over time. Because our subconscious mind is what's controlling us. It's controlling our thoughts, our actions, our beliefs. Now, you may consciously say, but that's not who I want to be. That's not who I am. But your subconscious doesn't care. It has been recording since the dawn of you making your appearance on Earth, and even before. So you have to be willing to put in the time in order to overwrite those difficulties, those limiting beliefs. And it's got to be something that you feel it. If you just say it and do nothing about it, if you don't imagine it and you don't take action upon it, it's not worth it. Like, don't even do it. It has to be something that is continuously impressed with feeling and action, not just words. Affirmations don't work for everyone all the time. Why? Because they're feeling the affirmation of lack or scarcity or fear while they're saying what they want in the verbal command. So it negates each other. You may as well be doing nothing at all. So you must be implanting it with the feeling of it. How a lot of people say, how do I say it? Do I say that loudly? Do I yell at myself? No, it doesn't have to be, but it could be. You say it with commanding attention. One of the greatest things that I'd suggest is say one over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Don't skip around to a bunch of them. You could just say this: wealth is circulating around me. It is pouring into my life from places expected and unexpected. I am wealth. Wealth is circulating in my life. It is pouring into my life. It is from places expected and unexpected. I am wealth. So whatever it is, and I know I had a small variation there, but whatever your affirmation is, say one. Don't say 15. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but the impression in our subconscious needs to be so consistent and so aware consciously that it is inputting, it is, as I said, etching. I like to say etch into the marrow of my bones, the deepest center. Okay? Or you could say into your DNA. Because some people are like, what's the subconscious? Why is that a big deal? It's a huge deal. But when we can compare it to something that we logically or have experienced before, then it makes it so much stronger. Okay? If you're an engineer or into software or anything, technology, imagine it's the source code for what all things are dependent upon. Your source code, your foundation should be one affirmation over and over, over and over, said daily. I would say 100 times, 1,000 times. Why? Because you're implanting it. We don't have the way to just download into the subconscious. I mean, we do actually. We're doing it right now. You're doing it right now. Getting around an abundant thinker, getting around the idea of opulence, of luxury, of excitement, of joy. But we have to do it so consistently. That's the only way it'll work. So, just so we have enough time, let me move on to the next one. Okay, so how does one remain patient and trust the process while waiting for manifestations? Trusting the process is something that reminds me of one of our first questions was how do I restore my trust in the universe? Okay. So and I didn't quite touch on that. So let's combine that here with this question. How do I trust the process? How do I restore the trust in the universe? Because I've been trying and I haven't received. Okay. The trust has to be something that you're putting into yourself. It's not the universe alone. Okay. That you're accepting that it will happen and expecting that the universe will allow and create. But if you're not expecting and you're not accepting, then the universe doesn't care. The universe is happy if you're unhappy. If that's what the universe sees, hey, you're unhappy, and that's what you vibrate with, and that's what you're always doing and thinking and saying, I'm happy. The universe is very neutral. So if you're going to guide the universe with your belief that it's not happening, the universe says, check, it's not happening. So how do we restore that trust? First, you accept that it's possible. Just accept that it's possible. Without the idea that it's possible, then we can't give the universe a clear definition of what we do want. So just accept it's possible. You may not see it, but just accept that it is possible. Then you tell the universe consistently what you want. Don't waver. We were talking about that before. Don't go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Just choose one thing that you want and continue to fill your heart with it. Continue to take tiny little actions of that version of yourself that that person would already be taking. Okay, if it's health, releasing weight, quitting smoking, maybe it's being a better partner, maybe it's paying your bills early instead of late, then do that. Take one step towards allowing that version of yourself to show up in the physical world. That's going to create, I call it a perpetual wheel of momentum. Okay. And it could go negative or positive. So you take an action that version of you would be taking. What does that action tell your subconscious and your conscious mind? Hey, I'm doing it. Maybe it wasn't the best, but I did it. Okay, great. So what does that do? That tells your mind, hey, I'm happy I did it. That puts a little bit of joy into your mind, a little bit of fulfillment of, hey, I'm doing it. That thought then creates a new idea of, I'll take this action. Action, thought, action, thought, action, thought, action, thought. And it will continue to create a motion that as a tiny little flake of snow that starts to gather a couple more and starts to roll down, it could be a massive avalanche or a massive snowball coming down the mountain. But you want to create an avalanche of momentum in the proper thought, not the difficulty of it. So that momentum begins to create a relationship with the universe, the source, the I am, God. You create a relationship with that divine. And I always suggest that you ask the divine, to show you something that proves to you that you are being heard, that there are things in motion. Literally ask. Say, I ask that I will put in the work every day. I will put in the action and the thought every day. I will accept and trust that our relationship is growing. All I ask is that you give me a sign that only that I will only know that came from you, source, came from you, infinite intelligence, came from you, all knowing, came from you, God, came from you, universe, came from you, energy, whatever you'd like to say. I ask that you provide a sign that I will know without a shadow of a doubt that it is from you. And then just just keep letting action, thought. Use that perpetual wheel of motion and momentum, and just continue. And expect that sign. It's going to be there. It will be there. Don't take something very relevant or something you expected as that sign. Don't hinder and get in the way and force it. Just allow, let go. What are some common misconceptions about the law of attraction that I should be aware of? Well, common misconceptions is something I tapped on earlier, that you're not doing it. Okay? Everybody's doing it. Everybody creates what they're wanting in their mind. Everything that is around us came from the idea of a mind first. Even negative things come from the idea of a mind. And then they are put into fruits. Some are rotten fruits. Some are delicious, ripe fruits. Some are bountiful and some aren't. You have to choose. So the misconception of law of attraction is that it works for some people and not for others. It's working for everyone. I don't care if you're using it or you're aware of it. It's working. It's constantly working. Another thing of law of attraction, a misconception would be all I have to do is think it and it just appears. That would be more of someone that is enlightened to the point that they don't need anything to have the feeling of it appearing in their life, to the point that they don't want it anymore. They know that everything is all taken care of. That's the only way I would say that law of attraction manifests in seconds, without, like, because you could say, I want $1 million. Why isn't it right here, right now? Well, because you didn't get into the belief and the action in order for it to be right here. Do I believe that it can manifest out of thin air? Yes, I do believe that. But I also don't believe that it will happen for most, because of the fact that you didn't put in the work. See, the reason why I don't manifest $1 million in my hand right here, right now, is because I've been trained that there has to be things to be done in order for it to appear. So I have to put in that work. I have to be willing to believe. Then I have to be consistent in the work, and then it will appear. But it's always going to work for everyone. Think of a time where you manifest something you didn't want. I really hope we don't get that flat tire. What happened? The flat tire. Oh man, if this happened, then it would really suck. What happened? That happened, and it sucked, didn't it? Okay. What if they say this? What if this happened? Whatever it is, it happens. I think negative energy manifests in a same way as positive energy. And I think we are led to believe that we have so much negative energy around us that most people dive into that. Like it sells better. That's why you turn on the news and there's so much uh, difficulty in the world, all these problems going on, and you vibrate towards it. It's more attractive because we're we're built in a way that we have to understand difficulties, fear, and strife in order to avoid them or to protect ourselves. And we've been doing that for thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. So we have that in our body, but we also just haven't been aware of the capability of creating exactly what we want through the positive reinforcement and consistency of it. So you really need to understand that the law of attraction is working no matter what. Now, the next one I have here is in your experience, what are the most powerful affirmations for attracting abundance and success? One of the most powerful affirmations is I am prosperity. I am wealth. I am there's a bunch of them. I don't want to say like one's more powerful than another. I will tell you this: the most powerful one is I am. It's not so much the the word you put after it or the phrase that you put after it. It is the commanding that you already are, that you're already experiencing it. It's the I. Whatever you put I or I am in front of, then you're creating a spell. Bruce Willis called our words. They were called spelling because he's saying it is a spell. You're casting essentially a magical capability around that verbal announcement or even that thought. So let and allow courageous things come from your thought. The I am and the I are so important. That's the main part of an affirmation. Because you can say prosperity, 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 and your subconscious will hear prosperity, but it may not invoke it into your life. You might just be seeing it. One of my mentors, I believe it was his niece. He said, my niece was saying, I want to be surrounded by money. And then she got a job at the bank. She was surrounded by money. And she said to him, that's not what I meant. And he said, well, you better be more specific. So utilize the visualization of what you want while you're saying it and see it in depth and feel it. That's what the most important part is going to be is an affirmation has to be felt and seen. That way it's operating, it's actually creating rather than negating or just being neutral in your life. Let's see here. I think I've got time for one more. So let's go with. I've got more questions than I can have time to answer. So let's go with this one. How can I measure my progress in applying the law of attraction in my life? How can you measure it? Well, your results. Your results are going to be whether you're applying it. Okay. So look at what you're doing. Is it creating anything? If it's creating anything at all, just a little difference, then those are results. Okay. Is it massive results? Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. But if it's creating any type of result, that's your measurement. If it's creating zero results or negative results, then that's your measurement. Okay. Is it working? Then go back to what I said before. Are you consistently doing it? What is the scale tipping towards? Fear, scarcity, anxiety, joy, fulfillment, wealth? What is it tipping at? As I said, it's always working for you, so it doesn't matter. It's going to work, but your results are going to tell you whether or not you're using it in a fashion that's for the negative or for the positive. So just look at your inner scale all day long. Maybe put a check. Here's what I would suggest to anyone that wants to know the results and how to make a quick fix. In your manifestation, your law of attraction, just imagine the old time weigh scale every day, 3 times a day. After breakfast, where's my weigh scale? Am I negative or positive? Am I affirming good thoughts of abundance, opulence, prosperity, wealth, health, or the opposite? And then after lunch, use this law of association of when you eat. After lunch, what's my scale look like? Am I negative, positive? After dinner, what's my scale look like? Now, you can always change it. If it is on the positive side, awesome. Keep going. If it's on the negative side, let's fill the positive side. Say the affirmation that you have decided upon. I am prosperity. Prosperity flows into my life. It is limitless, and I am limitless. I am creating more than I've ever thought before, and everything I do brings a better result than I thought. Whatever your affirmation is, let it flow into your life and say it over and over again. And then see the opulence of those actions happening in your life. Then what? Remember that perpetual momentum wheel: thought, action, thought, action, thought, action. Take the action upon that thought that you just deposited on the scale of success. So utilize these processes in order to create a better version of you every single day. And with that, thank you for coming here. I do appreciate you. Oh, I wanted to let you know we have a new community, which is in an abundant community filled with prosperity, filled with like-minded individuals that are helping you, and as I am helping you, to create a better version of your life, to create that abundance, to understand your affirmations, to understand how to live an abundant, infinite life filled with joy and fulfillment. So I am teaching you at a school course, and that is school, SKOOL.com. Feel free to go to my LinkedIn on any of my socials, and you will find our academy. It is the Mindshift Academy. Right now, it's at a opening price that will not last for too long. And it's very simple to join, and you're going to be receiving so much out of it. I'm going to be on there live 3 times a week. I'm going to give you a actual one-on-one introductory call and help you with your goals and how to fulfill them into your life and create a life of your dreams this year. Let's not turn back. Let's not be inconsistent anymore. Let's go for what you really want and what you've really desired, because we only have this one life to live. So get involved with my school community, Mindshift Academy. It's right now only $27 a month, less than $1 a day, in order to create a mind shift and have an infinite life of your own, of what you've always dreamed of. I can't wait to see you there. Thanks for joining the Q&A. I'm looking forward to any questions that you send me. Feel free to direct message them, and I would be happy to put them in our next Q&A. Talk to you soon.